Parsha 101, Haftarah 101. This week's Haftarah is from the book of Jeremiah, the book of Yirmiyahu, and just as this week's Torah portion is Bo, which is it's the last three plagues, and it speaks about, it's going to end with the Jewish people, the Exodus leaving Egypt. So this week's Haftarah is kind of like a follow-up to last week's Haftarah. Last week's Haftarah came from the book of Ezekiel, of Yecheskel, and was speaking about the eventual downfall of Egypt by Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, in later times. And this is a similar prophecy about the downfall, but from Yirmiyahu, from Jeremiah now, is giving this downfall. And he speaks about how Nebuchadnezzar is going to come, and it's going to be like locusts coming down, that Egypt is going to be so afraid from how it's just going to seem like there's so many of them, etc., and eventually they will fall in battle, and etc. And it describes Egypt as like a heifer, this beautiful, handsome heifer, and Babylon is like this butcher coming to sweep down, and they're going to have their reckoning, and they're going to basically destroy Egypt. Egypt's never going to be a superpower again. And what it ends off with is that it speaks about these punishments of the nations, and all the nations who oppress you, the nations that you've been exiled to lands, etc., those who are harsh on you, everyone will get their just reward. Kind of, God's going to bring down all these people. But it says to the Jewish people, even though you will also be punished for transgressions measure for measure, I will not utterly destroy you. And it says the words of Al Tira Avdi Yaakov, don't fear my servant Jacob, because I am always with you. God says, to the Jewish people, I'm always here with you. And even when it seems like you're in dark places and tough times, again, I'm here with you. And even this one line, it uses the name of Yaakov and the name of Yisrael, which are two ways of speaking about the Jewish people, or Jacob. Jacob's name was changed to Israel, but we still use both versions of the name at different times throughout in text and reference to him. Jacob is a general idea. That's why it says my servant Jacob, because this is kind of more of an idea of when we're in Exodus and we have this work of a servant, but we just got to do and get stuff done. We don't necessarily recognize the meaning and the full light of everything. And the name of Yisrael, the name of Israel, that came after Jacob had wrestled with the angel, right? You've wrestled with the angel and you've overcome. This is where the name of Yisrael comes from. So that's a name that's already the step above Jacob. That's the step above that we've struggled and we've conquered. That's kind of like the name Yisrael symbolizes that much more. And this line here of Al Tira Avdi Yaakov is the first line of a song that's sung when Shabbos comes out. At the end of Shabbos, this is a song that's sung after Shabbos is over. And it's kind of this idea of Shabbos is a time when we're more on this level of Yisrael, that we're above the struggles of the physical world. But going into the weekday now, we're going to return now to the state of being Jacob, my servant Jacob. We just got to go into the darkness and grapple with it and fight it. But Al Tira Avdi Yaakov, don't be afraid, God says, because I'm with you. So whatever we're going through, whatever sort of challenges, even not just a weekday to Shabbos, but even darker times versus times where we feel like we've come through or overcome, this is kind of like the state of Jacob and Yisrael, and one way or the other, God tells us that he is with us throughout it all.